You guys have been asking for this video, so here you go. I'm going to break down the Philadelphia Eagles 2022 salary cap. I'm going to talk about Fletcher Cox and what's kind of going on here. I'm going to put everything into detail, guys. We're going to go over rookie salary pools, basically how much money we're going to pay for our draft picks, the whole 9 yards, guys. So stick with me. I'm going to go through all the numbers and explain it. Let's get into it, guys. What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, Division Rivals? This is Stephen Hyder with Gay City Sports Channel. The sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. All right, guys. I got to just kind of jump into this video because it's going to be somewhat detailed, all right? So to begin with, when you look at your salary cap, you have to start with what the NFL salary cap is. So for reference point, last year it was $182.5. So $182,500,000 was the NFL salary cap, what every team is given from the NFL, right? This year it has gone upward, so it went up to $208,200,000. Now the next thing you have to remember, guys, is you can defer salary from one year to the next. And the Philadelphia Eagles are deferring $16,481,403 from 2021. This is often called a rollover. I like to just call it basically a deferment of the cap from the year prior. So, in total, what is the Philadelphia Eagles' total cap number? It is $224,400,000, okay? Technically, you'd have that 403, but we're just going to leave that up. We're going to say $224,400, okay? That's the Philadelphia Eagles 2022 cap total, right? The amount of money they can spend in total. Once you know that money, that kind of detail, guys, you have to then roll into what are the things you deduct from that salary cap, right? So you have to know all your salary, right? What are you paying guys that are under contract? So currently we have 65 because Fletcher just released, but underneath all the different cap tables you look at, it's going to say 66 because they still have Fletcher part of it. So you got 66, 65 guys under contract, right? You got to figure out what those numbers are, subtract it from that $224 million, guys. So what is the Eagles' numbers? It is $172,389,113. Who are the guys that are making the money on this football team? There's only a handful of guys who have a lot of base salary, right? That's not your total cap figure on the season, your cap hit. But there's a lot of guys with very high base money. Why do we need to know that? Because at the end of this video, I'm going to give you where the Eagles' estimated cap total actually stands. And it's not as much as people think. But you have to know that this stuff is fluid, meaning it can change very easily. One of the ways you can change is by taking guys with extremely high base salaries, taking that base, converting it into a signing bonus, an option bonus, or whatever type bonus, and giving you more cap flexibility in the current cap year while taking away cap flexibility in further years down the road, right? What is not so much affectionately called kicking the can down the road. Who are the guys on this Eagles roster? There's only two guys that are making a ton of money in terms of the base, which is Darius Slay, who has a $16 million base salary figure. Javon Hargrave, who has a $12,750,000 base salary figure. Those two guys are making way more than everybody else in base salary. They have a lot of flexibility to give the Eagles to renegotiate their contracts and give you some money to sign people, right? Outside of that, guys, Lane Johnson has $7 million in base. Isaac Seumalo has $5,650,000 in base. And then Jake Elliott has $3,775,000 basically in base salary. So a guy like Jake, you could restructure some of that. A guy like Isaac, you could restructure. A guy like Lane, you could restructure. Javon Hargrave, you could restructure. And Darius Slay, you can easily restructure. I'm sorry, guys. I have trains and crap that's down the road from me here. Now, in terms of trade candidates, who are two players we could trade and would immediately give us some cap flexibility? Gardner Minshew and Andre Dillard, so you have to kind of look out for those type of moves as well. You could also lump Isaac Seumalo into that group of adding him to say, like, if you trade him, you're going to definitely get some cap flexibility here. And that reason being is because Garner's due $2.5 million in base. Andre Dillard's due $2.181 million in base. So if you deal them, you just got to take out any of the signing bonus money, and then that's what you get back. So you're going to get like $1 million or so back if you move those kind of guys. So you can get a little teeny bit of cap flexibility by moving them. But all right, guys, we take that $172,389,113. You have to subtract that from that 224. But we're not done because we also have to look at the dead money. And when you ask, well, who's the dead money? And like, what are you talking about here? There's 18 players we are currently paying dead money to. And I want to make things clear, guys, about dead money. Dead money is very tricky because depending on what you do, you can have guys on your roster currently that you owe dead money. You don't believe me? Just hear me out for a second. Jacoby Stevens, we're paying dead money towards. He's still theoretically on this roster right now, okay? Rick Lovato, we owe dead money to. He's still currently on this roster, so it is kind of complex. But those guys, the dead money on those, John Hightower. The dead money behind those guys is very, very small. It's minute. Some other guys just, Coyote Owasika's on the roster. He still is owed dead money. You can also have guys who are not on your roster, but somehow you only sign them to like a 1-year deal, but you owe them dead money. So if you're asking me, like, well, who the heck is that, Steve? Eric Wilson, Steven Nelson, Ryan Kerrigan, Rodney McLeod. For drastically different reasons, right? Rodney McLeod, Steven Nelson, Ryan Kerrigan. The reason we have dead money on their contract currently is because we basically took their money and then put it into a signing bonus and then added dummy years. Years where you're only paying over the roster bonus. There's no base salary, right? So you're only paying them what we would call the prorated money. So it's not really roster bonus, my bad, guys. Prorated money, which is your signing bonus. So all that stuff is kind of true, and you have to kind of pay attention to that. When it comes to Eric Wilson, it's because we cut him in season. It was past June 2nd, so we divided his salary up over 2 years. It's just kind of the way it works, guys. So that's how your money falls. The big hitters. Who are the big hitters we're still paying money towards? Malik Jackson, Derek Barnett, Alshon Jeffrey, Zach Ertz, guys. Those are the 4 guys in particular we're paying a ton of money and dead money to. In total, between these 18 players, the Eagles owed $36,149,164 in dead money. Like, over 90% of all your dead money is coming from signing bonuses, right? It's from the money that you gave the player. The player already received it, but you promised the league to pay it back in lump sums, right? So you took that money and divided it up over so many years, so when you separate from the player, now the money's due to the league. Because Malik Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey were June 1st designated cuts, we paid part of their money in 2021, and we'll owe the other side of their money in 2022. In total, guys, like I said, it's $36,149,164. You have to subtract that from that $224,400, okay? The last thing we have to consider, and it's not being factored into the salary cap currently, but don't lose sight of it because it will get factored into the salary cap, which is your 2022 rookie draft pool. All right, guys, this is what you have to pay draft picks, and this gets convoluted and complex because it's estimates. There are some things that are not estimates, right? You have to pay the league minimum salary, okay? $705,000. That's called the Rule of 51, all right? You have to pay that. But most of rookie salaries are determined basically by the signing bonus that they get. So you might ask, then how do they know that? Because a signing bonus, it can differ, can it? Absolutely it can. But they look at previous draft classes, they look at the mathematical models to see how much it's progressing year over year, and then they make an estimate. Sometimes those estimates are not quite correct, but they're fairly good, guys. They give you an idea, a ballpark of what it is. So let me just explain to you some of the bigger draft picks we have and how much money it's going to cost us, right? The 15th pick is going to cost you $3,168,905. The 16th pick is going to cost you $2,984,242. The 19th pick is going to cost you $2,799,582. The 51st pick is going to cost you $1,322,311. The 83rd pick is going to cost you $972,162. I'll just say the rest of them for you real quick, guys, but those are the bigger numbers, right? 124th pick, 4th round, guys. $909, $699. 154th pick, $796, $532. 162, $793, $143. 166, $790, $871. Last but not least, 194, which is the 6th round pick, guys. $754,571. In total, that is $15,292,018 in the rookie salary pool. But wait a second, because it's a fluid number. Number one, you don't know ultimately what those signing bonuses will be. These are estimates based upon mathematical formulas that are normally fairly close, but never 100%. But number two, and this is very important, guys, you got to remember the Rule of 51. you have to have 51 players counted towards your cap no matter what. Since we already have 66 players, you got to subtract $705,000 times 10 picks because you were going to pay that no matter what. So you got to pull that out of your numbers. So that basically means $7,050,000 because that's 705 times 10 has to come out of this figure, guys. So you take that $15,292,018, you subtract $7,050,000, and honestly, what you have to pay your draft picks on an estimate for 2022 is $8,242,000 and 18 bucks. All right, that's what you owe them, guys. Now, I know you guys were like, "Gate, I didn't realize I was going to have to bring out a calculator and feel like I was in math class." Welcome, guys. Welcome to the NFL. That's how it works. All right, let's talk about all contracts and how they work out, guys. $172,389,113 towards the 51-man rule of 51. You got to keep 51 guys under contract. $8,242,018 in the rookie salary pool. And then you got to factor in the $36,149,164 in dead money, which altogether equals $216,780,295. Like I said, 99.9% of anything you watch is not going to factor in the rookie pool yet, but it should because it does count against your cap. And you have to take that $216 million and take it away from the $224 million you had in cap. So when all said and done, what is Eagles' figure? What is our cap figure? What do we have? You take $224,400,000 and you subtract it from $216,780,295, and it leaves you with a cap number of $7,619,705, so $7.6 million of available cap space. Now, what I want to preface here is that it is fluid. Only the Eagles front office really knows the real numbers, and let me explain to you why that is. Because although we have public access to contracts, like we see the reporting on it, and that's how Over the Cap and Spotrac and all these people come up with these numbers, understand that the language in contracts matters, and we don't know the ands, the ifs, the ors, or the buts of contracts. That's why lawyers and accountants come together to work on that kind of thing, guys, and that's why only the team's front offices truly know the numbers. That kind of language doesn't matter, and that's why you do see like a 10% disparity, plus or minus, on either side of things from these purported numbers, guys. So just kind of keep that stuff in mind, y'all. With that said, we know that we got about $7-8 million when it's all really said and done in cap space here. That's about what our cap space really is. Now, there are ways of manipulating the cap. Like I said, guys, Fletcher Cox taking off is going to add to this figure. I'm going to show you in a minute that we're going to add money back to the cap. But also, we got to keep in mind is that we can restructure contracts like Darius Slay, Javon Hargrave, Lane Johnson, Isaac Seumalo, whether he's traded, restructured, whatever, Gardner Minshew, Andre Dillard, all those guys, Rick Lovato, or no, sorry, not Rick Lovato, but Jake Elliott, all those guys can be restructured and redone, and that will give you more cap room, right? So it's a fluid situation, to be quite honest. So Fletch, real quick, let's talk about Fletcher Cox's contract and what's in there, guys. So Fletch couldn't be restructured anymore because we have restructured that man so much that he was down to $1.1 million in base salary, $1,120,000 to be exact. He's basically at the minimum for a guy over 10 years of NFL service. There was no more room that we could move him in terms of that, right? He has a $1 million roster bonus that would have been due. He had $6,119,415 in an option bonus that's due. I should say it is due. And he had $6,707,405 in restructure that's due. So previous years we restructured him, guys. That's due. So in total, what was Fletch's cap hit for the 2022 season? It was $14,946,820. I want to break something down. I'm hearing reported because I can guarantee you they're not correct here. All right? I'm hearing reported that Fletch is working on a deal for a 1-year, $15 million kind of deal here. I don't know that that's factually true, guys. That seems a little off to me for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's more than what the cap hit would have been on him this year. So if you're talking about restructuring him, if you're talking about dividing up the money, right? If you're talking about prorating the money, why are we going to create more dead money when we just absorbed $40 million? Like, to try to sell that to the public would be really difficult, guys. I don't buy it. That sounds like nonsense to me, okay? I don't buy that report. I would be very careful. Doesn't mean Fletch won't come back. Those numbers don't make a lot of sense because we already just ate $40 million in dead money over the next 2 years. And we're going to sign him to $15 million, so he's either going to cost us more against the cap this season than what he was going to cost us. You can say, like, well, no, because we got $2 million back by letting him go. So you take the $14 million, you subtract the 2, and you get like $13 million. So we actually came under a little bit from what we were going to pay him. It just, I don't know, guys. It just seems like you would have to get into some really fancy accounting here. And no matter what, the hit against our cap is going to be substantial. Okay? We can try to talk about that, but even then, you're still adding back $13 million against the cap you weren't going to pay to the cap. So to me, that's a big deal. But let me break down how the dead money works, right? So when you June 1st designate a guy, you can divide the money up over 2 years, okay? So you either have to designate, you get 2 designations you can do before June 1st, so Fletcher Cox being one of them clearly, or anything after June 1st is automatically that. So think Eric Wilson, that was an automatic thing, right? Anyone that gets cut downs in August, guys, those are automatic. Those are automatic June 1st cuts. So you have to take everything that is due in the contract for money we promised to pay the league back, and you have to pay them in 2022. Basically, that option bonus of the $6,119,415, and then the restructure of $6,707,405, you got to bring those two figures together to get that $12,826,820, and that's the dead money that would be owed against the 2022 cap for Fletcher Cox currently. So then you got to figure out from that $12,826,820, you know you had $40 million in dead. You know that it was $40,927,760 in dead money on Fletcher's contract. So what is owed in 23? So we just subtracted $28,100,940 against the 2023 salary cap by making this move, because we're paying $12.8 million in 22 and $28.1 million in 23 to get that $40 million off the books. I'm not saying that Fletch is gone, guys. Fletch could come back. It could happen. So by the time I post this video, if it has already happened, welcome back, Fletch. But I think people are counting their chickens before they hatch. This is a much more dangerous proposition than we are being led to believe here. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I'm just telling you purely the mathematical numbers here. So what did everyone keeps saying we saved $2 million. How did we save $2 million, guys? It's easy accounting here. Basically, guys, you have to take out what is owed in the dead money, the $12,826,820, and you got to subtract it from what his base salary, or I'm sorry, you have to subtract it from what his cap hit would have been, which was $14,946,820. That leaves you with $2,120,000. That's how you save that money, guys. All right? That's what it is. That's what this whole situation is, guys. I know that you will probably have a ton of questions. I will do my best to answer what I can, guys. Ask, shoot away. I'll do the best to give you answers if I truly know the answers to them. I may have to look some things up for you guys because some of this stuff gets really, really complex, guys. But I'll post some stuff I've done before on the cap. I talked about this potentially happening with Fletcher Cox, guys, and I will link that video. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all's time and attention. I'm going to get off here because it's already a long video, and I'll see y'all in the next video, guys. Comment down below if you got questions, y'all.